everybody. Welcome to RPM, Rock and Pop Mandolin, your site for learning classic rock and pop songs on this lovely little 8-stringed instrument. My name is Mike DeJong, and we have a really fun one for you in this video. This one is fun and funky, right out of the 1970s, Gloria Gaynor's I Will Survive. Yep, a really cool song for you to play on the mandolin, some really cool funky chords, and I've even thrown in a little bit of that solo from the original track. Now, this song was also done by a band called Cake in the 1990s, and that version is pretty cool, but I'm basing this lesson on the original track done by Gloria Gaynor back in the late 1970s, okay? But before we get to that lesson, a little bit of business here. If you're new to the channel, welcome. Thanks for coming aboard. But don't forget to hit that little red subscriber button on the way out. If you are a returning subscriber, thanks very much for coming back and checking us out. We really appreciate it. But please check out some of the ways you can support the channel down below. You can click on one of our affiliate links to Sweetwater or Amazon, or even Johansson Mandolins, my new mandolin. The link is down below. You can also come on board and join our Patreon team, and our Patreon team's getting exciting. I'm going to be rolling out PDFs of tabs for mandolin songs. Many of you guys have been asking me for tabs of the songs I do on the channel. Well, I'm starting to roll them out over there on Patreon, and you can download them and keep them and further enhance your learning of the songs that I do on RPM. Also, if you like, you can take some lessons, some video lessons. My new Learn Rock and Pop Mandolin lessons. The video link is down below. Check on that. Finally, if you really want to show off your love for rock and pop mandolin, you can do that with our new swag. That's right. Check down below for new RPM t-shirts and hoodies, coffee mugs, iPhone cases, whatever you like. They're all down there. And all of that helps to support the work we do on this channel. But that's enough business for you. Let's take a look at this cool song called I Will Survive for mandolin here on RPM. All right, Gloria Gaynor's version of I Will Survive is cool. It starts off with this cool chord progression, beginning with an A minor chord. Now, actually, the chord progression for this song is it. It's the whole song, basically. Most of it is these chords just kind of played in a funky sort of way all the way through, but there's also a couple of slow parts in the tune. But all of the chords are the same all the way through the song, all right? So once you learn the progression, you learn the song, basically. Of course, the strumming is a little bit different, and it might take you a little bit of time to get that strumming down. But here's the backing part right now, all right? Starts with an A minor chord like this. So what are those chords? Well, I'll show you the chords first, and then I'll talk about the strumming patterns, okay? All right, the first chord is an A minor down here, second fret, and third fret, the A string. The original chord in the original song is an A minor 7, so if you wanted to play that, you could, and it's quite easy. You're just adding in this third fret as well on the E string. So some people will just bar that over like that, or some people will use 2 fingers to bar here and those 2 fingers there, whatever. A minor 7. For my version of it, for the mandolin version, I'm just keeping it simple and playing just the A minor chord here without that high note there. So it's just like this. All right, so that's A minor. Then we slide that up to the 7th fret, 7, 7, and 8. That becomes a D minor chord, all right? So same thing. And again, you could play the D minor 7 if you want. You hear that note way up there? It'll give you the minor 7 sound on this, like the original track. But again, for mandolin, I'm just sticking with the 3 notes in the chord and not hitting that high E string. So here we go. Okay, so did you see what I did there? Here's the strumming pattern like this. So it's down, 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 up. So, and sometimes I'll add that little ghost note in the middle. Can you hear that? So it sounds like there's 3 notes that second time through. But, so you want to go, that's how you do that. Like that. Like that. So, right? And kind of right at the end of that, I'm sliding up to that D minor chord there. So, right? And the first sort of strum on that D minor is actually a muted thing, so I can get to that chord like this. I'll do it slowly. See, I went like that. All right, so it's the same strumming pattern except the beginning part of it. So, you see that? Okay, so A minor to D minor. Now, I'm going to show a couple of little inversions or voicings here that are going to be perhaps new for you, and I'm only going to be using 2 strings in these chords. Of course, the original chords in the Gloria Gaynor song would use a full guitar chord. I'm just going to show you the simplified version so you can play it on the mandolin, all right? All right, the next chord we're going to is here. It's actually a G chord, but I'm playing only those 2 notes in the middle of this chord, all right? So you can find it by going to the 12th fret here on the G string, and then the 9th and the 10th. So 12, 9, 10, right? It's that familiar triangular shape that you might know from these chords down here. It's up on the 12th fret of the G, making it a high G chord. But for the purposes of this song, as I said, I'm only going to be using those 2 notes in the middle of this chord, and I'm going to be trying to, and trying is the key word, trying to mute these other 2 notes, these other 2 strings on either side of it. And sometimes I'm more successful than not with it, but it's a little bit difficult to mute those like that. But what you're aiming for is that sound. You hear that? Just those 2 notes, you're aiming for that. You could play that full G chord if you want to go, but it doesn't, to me, it doesn't sound as good, right? So what I'm doing is I'm muting the G string here with my thumb kind of curled over, and the E string I'm muting with my pinky finger. So I'm just getting these 2 strings in the middle. And it's the same strumming pattern as I showed you from the A minor to the D minor to the G. Right? So let's start A minor. And same thing, when you first move from that D minor to the G, your first strum will be muted again. So, like that. All right, so we've got A minor to D minor to G. Now I'm going to do a C chord, a C major chord, but again, I'm only going to be playing 2 notes here, 2 strings. Okay, so if you make this chord here from your D string 10th fret, 7th fret on the A, and 8th fret on the E, you've got a high C chord, right? It's high C, like that. All right, but for the purposes of this song, I'm only going to be using this note and this note, okay? So 10th fret of the D, 7th fret of your A string, all right? So like that. Can you hear that? So let's see what we got here. So far, we got A minor, D minor, then G, and now C chord. Again, it's 10 and 7. All right, and again, you could play that high C note if you want. The actual chord in the original version of the song is a C major 7, which goes like that. It's a little bit difficult. If you wanted to try to play it on the mandolin, you could. So that's 10, 7, and 7. Again, I'm just using those 2. Those 2 strings work for me, all right? So we've got A minor, D minor, G, C. We're almost done now. So move that C grip up 1 fret each. Okay, now it becomes an F chord, all right? So this is now the 10th fret of your G, and it's the 7th fret of the D. So I'm moving from that C chord here to this F chord, okay? And once again, you could play that whole F grip if you like, if you wanted to add that finger there, but the actual chord in the song is an F major 7 chord, which is 10, 7, 7. I'm not doing that again, I'm just doing these 2 strings again, okay? So where do we go? We got A minor, D minor, G, C, and then F. So sorry, it was G, C, F. All right, we're almost done now. After the F, I'm going to slide down here and play this chord. This is my favorite chord in the whole song. This is a B minor 7 flat 5 voicing, or B half diminished. All right, and again, I'm only using the 3 notes here. You could play the entire chord to give yourselves the entire half diminished chord, but For the purposes of this tune, I think you only need either 3 strings or even 2, all right, on that second last chord. So it's 4th fret here, which is your root. That's the B note. 4th fret of the G string. Then you're going to the 3rd fret of the D and the 5th fret of the A string. And if you want to, bring your pinky in and get that high A note, 5th fret of the E, okay? But you don't have to. I just prefer to play it like that. Just like that, okay? So, one more time through the progression. A minor, slowly, D minor, G, C, F, B minor 7 flat 5, and then we're done. We're going to the E, and E7. Okay, so you're going down to that E chord. 1st fret on the G string, 2nd fret, and 2nd fret, okay? And then you can take your second finger off to leave that D string open to give you that 7 chord. So and then you're back to the A minor again. So there you go. You've got all the chords to the song. You've got A minor, D minor, G, C, F, B minor 7 flat 5, and then E, and E7, A minor again. That is the song throughout. All right, now that you've learned the chords, let's learn that little guitar solo on the mandolin. It's pretty fun. It goes... All right, your first part of the solo is that little hammer-on from the 3rd of the A string to the 5th, back to the 3rd, okay? Just like that. See, I'm not hitting the 2nd note. Like that, okay? And then, that's a really cool little run there. It's just an arpeggio in D minor, so starting on the A, and then here, so open A, 3rd fret, okay, and then to the 3rd fret of the E string, and then down to this 1st fret, which is an F note. All right, so from the start of the solo, once again, like that, okay? So, okay, so then you walk down from there. So, like that. So you're on the F, that 1st fret of the E, then you walk down open E, on 5 on the A, 3. You do a little... It's a little hammer-on lick from the 2nd to the 3rd, back to the 2nd, then the open. So it's like that. So once again... So you're pulling off that 3rd fret to the open. Like that. And actually, I'm almost hitting that 2nd fret as well. So it's kind of a tricky lick. You can either do just a pull off from the 3rd or pull off from 2nd, 3rd open to the 5th. You're ending up on the 5th of the D string here. Okay, so one more time from the beginning of the solo. So, like that. And then you're going... Okay, so now you're 5, 7 on the D string hammering. Okay, you notice I've changed the positioning of my hands here too from, right? I've ended up on the first lick here with my 3rd finger at the 5th fret, the G note there. Now I'm shifting from 1st finger to 3rd to do that little pull-off lick. Like that, or that little hammer-on pull-off lick, like that. And then I'm catching that note up here, which is the F note again, but it's on this string this time. Okay, so that is the 8th fret, so, right? Just like that. So once again from the beginning. Right? Okay, so you're now on that F note. From there you go... Like that. So, from the beginning, So from the F, you're going. All right, you're just. And those are all hammer-on licks again. You're only plucking the first and third notes. Okay, so from here, you're going 7, 8, back to 7, and then 5, 7, 3, 5, 2, 3, open, 2, open. Okay, so one more time from the beginning of the solo. Okay, and you're ending up on that A note. All right, and the final bit of the solo is really cool. It goes up there, so open E to first fret F, and then I'll do this really slowly. Okay, so what did I do there? Well, that is just a... like that. It's just a descending scale starting on the F note. It's actually out of the C major scale, but it starts on this F note here, all right? So you're going... right? So that's just from F to F so far. Okay, so 1, open, 5, 3, 2, open, 5, 3. So, okay, that's the first part of it. Like that. And I'm doing sort of up and down cross picking here. Right? And then... now, this second part is different than the original version of the song. The original version of the song has a descending pattern that goes much lower than the notes that we have on the mandolin. In fact, it's only one note lower. It goes all the way down to a low F. Obviously, we don't have a low F here because this is a G string. This is one note higher than that. So I can't go all the way down to the from F to F like the original version. So what I'm doing is modifying it. I'm just coming up at the end. All right, so like this. That works because I'm still utilizing notes from the C scale. I'm just going up now. So again, let's do the descending pattern from F to F. All right, and then I'm continuing down like that. So like that. So it's 2, open, 5, 4, 2, open, 2, 4, 2. Like that, and then you're on an E chord, all right? So one more time. All right, and then you can put in this little kind of a hammer-on lick there from the second to the third fret there, right over the E chord. So one more time, the entire solo slowly for you. Like that. And that is it. That is the entire song. Gloria Gaynor's I Will Survive, a really fun song. Same chord progression all the way through the song, although they do slow it down at one point when they're just doing that. If you wanted to do something like with a tremolo on that, you could do that over your chords. You got the A minor chord, just hit that note on the top there, that third fret on the A string, and then here, just keep hitting the notes on the A string there on the first two chords, and you can tremolo it, you go like that. Then when you go to the G chord, you're up there, all the way up on the 10th fret. So 3rd fret, 7th fret, 10th fret. Okay, now I'm going to switch. On the C chord, I'm going to use this note, right, which is the 10th fret now of the D string on that C chord. And then the F chord, instead of playing it here, you can just hit that F note down there at the 3rd fret of the D. So, right? And then here. And now on that B minor 7 flat 5 chord, I'm going to hit this note here, which is the 5th fret of your A. So again, right, I'll play the chords, right? And then here I'm just going, right? And then, yeah, and you can do a nice little pattern there if you want from the 2nd fret there of the A string up to the 7th fret, 10th fret, 7, 10, 12. There's your high E note. So, and just keep that tremolo thing going there, like that, right? Or you can add in, remember that? I did that down here. You can do it, that's a 7, 8. Or you can do it up here, 12, 13. A little hard to get a sound out of that for me, but all of that works as little embellishments in this song. All right, that's it. That is Gloria Gaynor's I Will Survive, the original version. A really fun song for you to get under your fingers on the mandolin. Good luck with that, and have a lot of fun with it. I know it's going to be an amazing song for you to play. Thanks very much for tuning into RPM. Don't forget to check out all of the cool things we have down below and get yourself some RPM swag if you want. Perfect for the holiday season. Thanks very much for watching. Once again, RPM.